In October 1986, the British press reported that Mercury had his blood tested for HIV at a Harley Street clinic. A reporter for The Sun, Hugh Widow, questioned Mercury about the story at Heathrow Airport as he was returning from a trip to Japan. Mercury denied he had a sexually transmitted disease. According to his partner Jim Hutton, Mercury was diagnosed with AIDS shortly after Easter of 1987. Around that time, Mercury claimed in an interview to have tested negative for HIV despite the denials. The British press pursued the rampant rumors over the next few years, fueled by Mercury's increasingly gaunt appearance, Queen's absence from touring and reports from former lovers to various tabloid journals. By 1990, the rumors about Mercury's health were rife. At the 1990 Brit Awards held at the Dominion Theatre, London, on 18th of February, a visible frail Mercury made his final public appearance on stage when he joined the rest of Queen to collect the Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution to Music. Towards the end of his life, he was routinely stalked by photographers, while The Sun featured a series of articles claiming that he was ill, notably in an article from November 1990 that featured an image of a haggard-looking Mercury on the front page accompanied by the headline, "It's official, Freddie is seriously Illinois." However, Mercury and his inner circle of colleagues and friends, whom he felt he could trust, continually denied the stories, even after one front-page article published on April 29, 1991, showed Mercury appearing very haggard in what was by then a rare public appearance. It has been suggested that he could have made a contribution to AIDS awareness by speaking earlier about his situation and his fight against the disease. Mercury kept his condition private to protect those closest to him, with Brian May confirming in a 1993 interview he had informed the band of his illness much earlier. Filmed in May 1991, the music video for "These Are the Days of Our Lives" features a very thin Mercury in what are his final scenes in front of the camera. After the conclusion of his work with Queen in June 1991, Mercury retired to his home in Kensington. His former partner, Mary Austin, had been a particular comfort in his final years, and in the last few weeks of his life made regular visits to his home to look after him. Near the end of his life, Mercury was starting to lose his sight, and he deteriorated to the point where he could not get out of bed. Due to his worsening condition, Mercury decided to hasten his death by refusing to take his medication and continued taking only painkillers. On November 22, 1991, Mercury called Queen's manager Jim Beach over to his Kensington home to discuss a public statement. The next day, the following announcement was made to the international press on behalf of Mercury. Following the enormous conjecture in the press over the last 2 weeks, I wish to confirm that I have been tested HIV positive and of AIDS. I felt it correct to keep this information private to date to protect the privacy of those around me. However, the time has come now for my friends and fans around the world to know the truth, and I hope that everyone will join with me, my doctors and all those worldwide, in the fight against this terrible disease. My privacy has always been very special to me, and I am famous for my lack of interviews. Please understand this policy will continue. On the evening of November 24, 1991, a little over 24 hours after issuing that statement, Mercury died at the age of 45 at his home in Kensington. The official cause of death was bronchial pneumonia resulting from AIDS. Mercury's close friend, Dave Clark of the Dave Clark 5, had taken over the bedside vigil when he died. Austin phoned Mercury's parents and sister to break the news of his death. The news of his death reached newspaper and television crews by the early hours of November 25. On November 27, Mercury's funeral service was conducted by a Zoroastrian priest. In attendance at Mercury's service were his family and 35 of his close friends, including the remaining members of Queen and Elton John. His coffin was carried into the chapel to the sounds of "Take My Hand, Precious Lord," and "You've Got a Friend," by Aretha Franklin. Mercury was cremated at Kensal Green Cemetery, West London. In accordance with Mercury's wishes, Mary Austin took possession of his ashes and buried them in an undisclosed location. The whereabouts of his ashes are believed to be known only to Austin, who has stated that she will never reveal where she buried them. In his will, Mercury left the vast majority of his wealth, including his home and recording royalties, to marry Austin and the remainder to his parents and sister. Hill left £500,000 to his chef, Joe Finelli, £500,000 to his personal assistant, Peter Freestone, £100,000 to his driver, Terry Giddings, and £500,000 to Jim Hutton. Austin continues to live at Mercury's former home, Garden Lodge, Kensington, with her family. The outer walls of Garden Lodge in 1 Logan Place became a shrine to Mercury following his death, with mourners paying tribute by covering the walls in graffiti messages. 3 years after his death, Time Out magazine reported, "Since Freddie's death, the wall outside the house has become London's biggest rock and roll shrine." Today fans continue to visit to pay their respects with messages and letters appearing on the walls. Hutton was involved in a 2000 biography of Mercury, Freddie Mercury, The Untold Story, and also gave an interview for The Times for what would have been Mercury's 60th birthday.